Welcome to Larry's Library. Got something a little bit different this time. I'm joined once again by my son-in-law, Reid Chancellor.
Yeah, hi.
Artist extraordinaire, musician, all-around great guy. And he presented me with an inking challenge where he inked 8 different pieces that were a pencil art by various comic book artists that I know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't have any prior knowledge of who or what it's going to be. And so the challenge is that I identify the penciler from your inked image.
Yeah, well, and I would say, like, the biggest thing is if you've ever seen my art, I would say that my art is not a classic comic book art, or at least in the sense of, like, probably historically, like, what is your favorite style.
It's not the Marvel House style.
Exactly, yeah. Sure. And so doing this was kind of like, let's see how... One, let's kind of test the Chasing Amy theory of whether or not our inkers just tracers.
Yeah, I was reminded of that when I was thinking about this challenge too. I was thinking about that, and I think for me it depends on the penciler and what they've turned in. Because to me, there's about 4 levels to penciling.
Yeah.
There's layouts, breakdowns. I think are sometimes synonymous with layouts, but to me, breakdowns are a little bit better than layouts as far as detail. And then there's pencils, and then there's full pencils.
Yeah, or tight pencils is
right.
What, because there's plenty of artists like still to this day that just work straight from pencils. Like I know like Jeff Darrow doesn't even ink; they just shoot from the pencils.
Yeah. I've talked about on my channel. There's one early pioneer that's Gene Cola. You know, he was doing it before they really perfected it. You know, and it shows in some of those,
for sure.
Those older books where they didn't really have it down with the tech, I don't think.
Yeah.
But it got better and better.
So with this, the inking challenge, first slide of the pair of it will be, the inked drawing by myself, and then the second one will have the original pencils, and then we'll reveal who the original artist is. There's 8 total. The first 2 are the most obvious, so we're getting those out of the way. It gets harder as we go, I think, but you'll see, and we'll go from there. Okay, you ready for the first one?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. The face looks like Simonson, and the feet, and the way he does the top of the boots. Well, and the swirling cape. But there's something that isn't Simonson about it, but that's probably your ending. But
it could be. It could be my interpretation.
I like it. I'm going to say Simonson.
Okay, Simonson, final answer?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. You're right, yep.
Wow. Okay.
So I felt like that's a pretty obvious one, but I tried to throw you by throwing out the background because I was like, that background makes it way too Simonson.
Yeah.
And so I was like, maybe this will get it, but
his feet are really. I can identify a lot of artists from their feet.
Sure, I can see that. Yeah.
His foot, it's sort of elongated, you know.
Yeah, or lack of feet if it were Liefeld.
Yeah, if it was Liefeld, obviously.
But no.
And also, who am I thinking of? Gil Kane.
Gil Kane. I was just going to say it was
I was going to say Gil Kane.
Okay,
Gil Kane's feet and his legs are unmistakable. But so are Simonson's. They're actually, it's almost like there's too many joints.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing that's interesting. Like, I would say this is looser than I would have expected Simonson pencils to be after seeing, like, if you see his original or his, like, final art.
Yeah.
I never would have thought, because he's very graphic, and with that, usually graphic and, like, posed are a lot tighter, a little bit more so. There's less sketchiness going on, so I was kind of surprised on this one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, okay. So
there's a lot in that arm, though.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so you're 1 for 1. All right, and so next one here is the inked drawing.
That is, well, let me think here. I'm going to say it's Herb Trimpe, but it could be Sal Buscema, but I think it's Herb Trimpe.
Really? Final answer?
Yeah. Is it Kirby? My third answer.
Yeah, it's Kirby. Yeah, it's Kirby.
Yeah.
I felt like, and that's another one that, like, the background, there's Kirby crackle. So it's like I couldn't slide into the background. Yeah. So trying to throw you a little bit because I felt like that's a pretty...
Yeah, you did.
It's a pretty Kirby pose.
The really early Herb Trimpe, especially on the Hulk, is so Jack Kirby.
Sure, yeah.
Which a whole lot of Marvel artists, their early stuff is.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's what Stan Lee told them to do.
Well,
they said, just do this.
I think it says 78 is the because the
78.
pencil So it's that was one that
I thought Kirby initially. That's too obvious.
Well, yeah, and that's the problem with it, because like finding Kirby, there's a lot of Kirby pencils out there because a lot of people try to do that. They try to ink. They want to. It's kind of like a lesson for them to ink over Kirby, and you can kind of see that it just gets more and more obvious with it. So, there you go. So I threw you with a curveball or a knuckleball rather to get you on that. So all right, well let's go next one.
It almost looks like Mike Plug, but it could be John Buscema, early John Buscema. I really don't know. It's great. I love it. Love this piece. I'm going to say Mike Plug.
Okay. All right. Mike Plug, final answer?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. You got it. Yeah.
Right.
You're right. Yeah. That was one that I was like, it was harder to find a pencil that was like a comic, really, because like most of this stuff is all like the Tolkien art that he did and all that, which is super cool. And like,
I love Mike Plug. He's just fantastic. Never hear anybody talk about him hardly anymore.
Yeah, I know that was one that like I thought it was going to be harder to find something by him, because that's one that I got.
His pencils are tight.
Yeah, they're very I would say that's like,
at least with this piece.
Yeah,
but it might have been a
most of them are
piece.
kind of like that.
Was this maybe a commission piece?
Probably. That's what it seemed to be like. A lot of the ones that I found the pencils to work off of were like that. But yeah, almost all of his.
I mean, your inking on that was great, though. Go back.
Well, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I liked. Well, and this one, it kind of lends itself a little bit to my style there.
Yeah,
I was kind of able to tweak it and do. Some
and you could have went different ways too.
For sure,
the fur could have been white or something.
Yeah, or I could have just done like straight, just filled it in black.
And the bracer there could have been shinier rather than dark. But yeah, I mean, it's your choice. Yeah, I like it.
All right, well, here we go. Next one. Let's see. I can't remember which one's next. All right. No.
Okay. I don't know. There's a little bit of John Buscema look to it, but I don't really think it's him. And I know he hasn't probably done a lot of Superman, but with commissions could be anything, if it was something.
True.
But I would know it. See, that's my only hint there. The inking is spectacular. At least I think it is. I mean, it's hard to see. It's hard to tell without seeing the original. I don't know how much of it is you and how much of it is the pencils. It's a nice piece. Even though it's Pooperman.
Yeah, I know. That's it's probably the only Superman I've ever drawn. Or, well, I didn't even draw. I mean, inked it.
Right. That you've dealt with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do not know.
See, and that's interesting, because I thought this was a fairly obvious one. But that's also just because this is very much out of my realm.
This could be Neil Adams. I'm going to say Neil Adams. Maybe.
You're saying Neil Adams, or you're saying it's Neil Adams maybe?
I'm going to say Neil Adams. I'm just a wild ass guess.
All right, let's see. Wow.
Jim Lee.
It's Jim Lee, yeah.
Wow. Huh. See, that doesn't look very Jim Lee. I mean, I love it. It's great.
Well,
I don't think I would have.
I didn't want to do a Batman.
I think
that was what made
I'm
me.
always so used to seeing Jim Lee inked by Sinclair and it being really sort of shinier.
Or like I know, like isn't Scott Williams did a lot with.
That's what I meant.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
Sinclair, but yeah, Scott Williams.
Yeah, and that was one that was like.
And I haven't seen a lot of his pencils. That's probably the.
Sure. Well, and his pencils, these got a lot out there, which was kind of fun to pick from, because I didn't want to do a Batman, because I was like, that'll be too Jim Lee. So I was like, well, let's give this a shot. But yeah, and this is I stayed pretty true to. I mean, because these are really tight. I would say, like, the face is super tight.
It's done.
And like even all of the like the cross hatching is, even though I'm doing a little bit of my own interpretation.
See, your inks on it, it almost looks like Williamson. I almost thought Al Williamson.
Okay,
that's got some Al Williamson vibe to it, I think. Which I love Al Williamson, but
sure, I could see. Yeah, and I kind of like I didn't really do all the highlights and everything that's in there. So kind of
I like both a lot.
choose. Yeah.
Yeah.
For being Superman, it's not that bad. Let's see here. Next one. All right.
Is this Gene Colan? I'm going to guess Gene Colan. But I'm not sure.
Gene Colan. Final answer?
Yep.
All right, let's see. You're right, yeah. That was one that I thought was pretty obvious, but there's not, like, it's kind of, if you Google Gene Colan pencils, this is like a very, like, this is one that comes up.
That comes up.
So it's kind of like, well, that works, but yeah, it was.
Well, the hand and the foot, he does a lot of that with it out in front with the perspective and stuff.
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's like a very Gene Colan pose.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure if
it's good.
With the,
and you did a good job.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I wasn't sure if the patriotic would throw it. Let's see here, next one. All right.
I don't think I know. Nothing is really shouting at me here. I mean, it could be Bernie Wrightson. But I don't see any real just tells, for me anyway. Mm-hmm. And you can't see the feet, so that's not helpful. I'm going to guess Wrightson, but it may not be.
Okay, all right, so Bernie Wrightson?
I don't have any a real good percent here, I would say.
All right, let's see, and you're right.
Okay,
that was the one I thought was going to throw you. I thought that one was going to throw you more. But yeah, because look, those are like the loosest pencils.
It is very loose. You did good
loose.
again. You're good.
Yeah, it's tricky. Like
what made me think it might be is that leg, the big fat meaty part of that.
Oh sure. Yeah,
is a little bit Wrightson. I mean, obviously it's all Wrightson, but
yeah,
and also the precipice there of the edge of the building is.
Yeah, that's
big,
probably the biggest. Yeah, the biggest
kind of,
tell. Yeah. Kind of like a gargoyle perched over a little bit, yeah. Right. But yeah, that one was. I thought that was gonna really throw you. So good on that. I stopped keeping count at how many you've been doing. I'm sure you'll put that in editing.
Yeah, we can figure it out in post.
All right, let's see. Next.
Okay. Well, see, with that outfit, it could be anybody. Almost. I like it. You knew I would like all these, though, didn't you?
I'd hoped. This is honestly probably my favorite one that I did.
Yeah, and you got the shiny down. You got little Bob Layton going right there. But you know I love that. Mm-hmm. That I do like the shiny. But who is this? It looks almost too good to be Ditko. But it could be Ditko. But I don't think he's usually not that good.
Shots fired.
I mean,
Shots fired.
I have an appreciation for Ditko now, more than I did when I was a kid. I've talked about that. But I think this looks better than Ditko. For me.
Well, I'll take that as I'll put that on my next business card. We'll say that.
But who is this? And I think is that Mr. Freeze? I'm guessing that's Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
But okay. See, so I would probably guess like Trempy again or something like that, but I don't think he's done anything like that. But again, a commission, it could be anything. You know, anybody could do anything. I don't know. It's almost too even to be Trempy. Trempy has some little issues with his anatomy sometimes. I don't think it's Trempy. I don't know who it is though. I'm gonna give you this one. I give up.
You don't know?
Yeah, I do not.
Wow, I did not expect this one to stump you like this.
I should take a guess though, shouldn't I?
Yeah, give us a guess. It's somebody that like, you know, you've always been outspoken about enjoying their art.
I don't see any Byrne tells, but it could be Byrne. I mean, that's a costume, you know. Mm-hmm. So a lot of his anatomical clues would be lost. Mm-hmm. But the face ought to give me something, and it's just not. I like it. It's not Starlin, is it? I'm going to guess Starlin, because the face almost has a Starlin vibe. I see that. Is that your guess, though? Yeah.
Go with Starlin?
Yeah, I think I'm wrong.
Let's.
But...
Yeah. Well, you are wrong. It is. It's Michael Golden, co-creator of Rogue.
Man, I love Golden, but I didn't pick up any Golden there at all.
Well, and like I will say that's like the lightest pencil.
Yeah.
Ever on it, because like, that's just the straight scan.
You know, I should have got it from the boot though. That's a Golden boot.
Sure, yeah,
He does that boot shape a lot.
Very like plain, just very geometric done.
You know, and I've always thought I could identify anything from the art, and I think I can, but I'm much better if I got a page. Because then you can like see the movement and the layouts.
and the actual layout. And
it's much easier then.
Mm-hmm.
You can see like
that's
different
true.
parts of the anatomy. Mm-hmm. It's a lot harder with just a piece.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, yeah, and as I look at it now, I'm like, yeah, that face is much more.
That looks like Starlin, doesn't it?
It does, but I still think that's
a
a lot more golden-y than when I inked it. The inks look a lot more like Starlin.
Yeah. Yeah, you made it look more like Starlin than the pencils alone do.
But yeah.
It's nice.
That was my favorite one that I did. I really liked doing that one. All right, I think this may be the last one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I immediately think it's Steranko, but that could be an obvious and a trick. But you said there was no trick, so.
Did Steranko? I don't know if Steranko ever did much pencils. Like he inked. Well, I know he did. He did get inked a lot more as I say it.
Yeah, it's definitely Steranko here, and it's someone aping Steranko if it's not Steranko, I think. But that's my guess, because I don't know who it is otherwise.
Yeah, you gotta look at the feet one more time to make sure. Is that?
Don't remember Steranko's feet exactly either. The midsection of the anatomy and the pelvis doesn't look like Steranko to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the rest do, and the pose,
the pose,
the trappings.
It's a very
But I do not know who it is otherwise.
All right, so we're gonna go with Steranko. Your guess?
Yeah.
All right,
but it's probably not.
It was John Byrne.
Wow, that does not look like Byrne, does it?
No.
Even the straight pencils doesn't look like Byrne.
No,
too much.
I hope I'm not wrong. I'm pretty sure that's his signature.
Oh yeah. That's definitely. Byrne.
I tried to be sure that was my worst. That was like my worst
nightmare. What's it say right there?
Dallas. I think Dallas.
Dallas,
1982.
Okay.
Yeah. I was trying to make sure that I didn't just.
That's John Byrne aping Steranko.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that one.
And your inks make it look more like a classic, older school piece, I think.
Sure, a little bit. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm much more graphic. It's harder to do. Like, I didn't have as much fun with this one as I did like some of the others where like even the
because he's already done everything.
Yeah, and even that Jim Lee piece was also kind of like that too. But yeah, there's just like these pencils are so tight already. Like the face alone has so much detail in there.
I think Kristen's hiding back there. I bet she's keeping track for us, maybe.
Oh yeah, Kristen, did you keep track? No.
I'll have to do it in post.
Sorry.
I think I might have got half of them, but
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely. Yeah, I didn't do as much scruff on his face. I should have done that. That would have been cooler. But yeah, that's the end. That's it. So.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, yeah.
Well, that was fun.
We'll have to do a part 2.
Yeah.
I'll have to pick some.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Because there's plenty of people I didn't pick. I mean, you named more people when you were making your guesses, and I didn't. I didn't do some, but some of them were harder to find. Just pencils of because a lot of Buscema was inked already. So there's not as many scans of just the pencils out there, and I didn't want to do JR or anything like that. But I mean, right now inkers don't really. I mean, I know inkers still exist, but they're not a commodity because most pencilers want to either ink their own stuff so they can then sell it,
right?
Then, or it's all just transferred digitally. Like I know David Finch, he pretty well. I think he scans all his pencils in and sends it off. Like he keeps his original pencils.
Yeah,
still.
That's the way to go for sure. Then you don't have to worry about any kind of. Get my art back fiasco. Or something getting destroyed in transit.
Well, what I would say, I mean, a lot of people are even don't. I would suppose like the penciling stage for me is done digitally. like when I do my books. So I'm sure a lot of other people are the same way.
Well, I want to get back to drawing one day. I used to draw a lot when I was young, and I totally got out of that. And I want to get back to it. I mean, it's probably something that won't happen until after I retire.
Yeah.
When I have more time. But then I'm probably going to want to go digital, though, somehow. I'm going to probably have to get some kind of, what is it?
Like a tablet.
Wacom or something.
Well, yeah, I would say you don't need to get a Wacom. I mean, because I don't have Wacom. I don't like them. They're nice.
It used to be that was the only game in town.
That was the only
other
one.
options now.
Well, now most
Cheaper
people, I mean, like a
options
lot of people just do iPad.
Okay.
With them, and then or like Procreate on the iPad is great, and then I use Clip Studio on my Samsung tablet, and I love it.
Well, and then I've seen videos of people doing it with a Microsoft Surface too. So
people do
that's
that
an option for
I
us,
know.
for us Windows guys. That might
the
be
Samsung Galaxy tablet. It came with like 3 free months of Clip Studio, like EX, like or Pro, like the high end one. So I was like, oh, well, that's the one.
Yeah, some of
So
Joe
we did.
Quesada's videos show some of that. You can, yeah. All right. Well, that was good. Thanks for doing this with me.
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll do it again sometime. I'll put a link to Reid's store down below. So if you want to buy some of his art,
Yep, thank you. Yeah,
there's a
that'd
lot
be great.
still up, and some of it's getting sold out. You're gonna have to replenish that store.
Yeah, I gotta kind of revamp it, but there's gig posters in there for sure right now. I gotta probably double check my stock of books and things like that. But yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching, folks.
Yep.
See you next time.